Hey, Tar Pit crew, thanks for tuning into the Tar Pit Podcast, your go-to spot for all things Carolina football. Did you know you can also catch full episodes of the Tar Pit Podcast on Spotify? If you haven't already, make sure to check us out and follow us today on Spotify for all the latest UNC football coverage. Need fresh game day gear? Swing by the Shrunken Head Boutique or Tailgate by Shrunken Head on Franklin Street. Use code TARPITPOD for 15% off your entire order. Anytime in-store or online at shrunkenhead.com. All right, let's get into it.
What's going on, Tar Pit crew? Welcome back to another live episode of the Tar Pit Scouting Report. As you all know, I'm Troy, joined here with my guy Trevor. We're missing Chris tonight. He is not feeling well, but he does send his regards and says, "Go Heels." And as we look forward to welcoming the Duke Blue Devils this weekend inside Kenan Stadium, I think 3:30 kickoff, broadcasted on ACC Network. And we are shortly joined by two friends of mine. Two guys that I look up to and hold their friendships near and dear to me, but they're also two guys that do a hell of a job covering everything Duke football, and now expanding into basketball and baseball as well. So we'll introduce those guys here shortly and have them on. But Josh and Jamie with the Section 17 podcast and Duke Football Talk. Those two guys, man, they do it well over there. Their whole team, man. Trevor, I've told you more than one time, and Chris too, that the Tar Pit was inspired 3 years ago by a Duke football podcast, and it was none other than the Section 17 and the work that they do, man. They do a heck of a job covering the Duke football program. Went into a pretty untapped market and ran with it and has grown it. And they were just talking about their tailgate scene over at Wallace Wade last week at UVA. And I've been to a tailgate when it was a little bit smaller, but it's grown rapidly, so they say. But we'll get those two guys on with us here shortly. But Trev, jump in here, bro. We got some stuff to talk about tonight. How you feeling?
Yes, sir. Feeling good, man. I was going to say, I remember when you brought me in on this thing a few years ago. I remember you telling me from the start these guys had inspired you. So we had, I think Scott joined us last year when we were previewing this matchup. So I'm excited to talk to these two tonight, man. It's been an eventful afternoon for me. One of our biggest fans broke her wrist, so I just got in right before we went live. So I'm a little chaotic in my world right now. But hey, we got a guest right there beside you. What's his name? Is that Kilo?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. That's cash.
Cash.
That's cash
That's
money
right
there on the couch with me.
That's right. Well,
Yep.
I'm excited to be back talking football, man. It seems like this season hasn't gone our way, but this team, where these guys we're talking with tonight, their expectations for their season hasn't went their way either. So I never thought that at this point of the year we'd be playing, and these two teams would not have clinched a bowl yet when we were going into the season. So it'll be fun to break it down.
Hey, nonetheless, I get excited for this matchup, man. The battle for the victory bell. It's a game that I grew up going to. Basketball kind of takes a back seat this weekend. And we get to see the Tar Heels and the Blue Devils compete on the gridiron and see who can come out victorious, man. It's another chapter in the battle for the victory bell. But Trev, we got some stuff to review with the people. Guys, we put our heads together and put together a little contest for all the viewers out there, for everybody that's watching, no matter where you're at, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We appreciate you tuning in. But you can win 2 UNC football tickets to the game this weekend, Carolina versus Duke. Like I said, 3:30 kickoff inside Kenan Stadium. You must be following the Tar Pit podcast on Twitter at Tar Pit Pod. Comment on the post. You'll see them on there. I think one of them's pinned at the very top of our profile. And tag someone, and then repost the post as well. And as you can see in the blue, it's only for UNC fans. So sorry for all the Duke people that are tuned in tonight, but we're trying to put Carolina butts in Carolina seats. So, but the guys, it doesn't get no better than that. Plus a $50 gift card to Shrunken Head and Tailgate, our partners that we just partnered with, local business in Chapel Hill, right there in Franklin Street in downtown. So it's a great opportunity. We'd appreciate the support. Give us a follow on Twitter while you're there, and a subscribe on YouTube as well.
Yeah, man. I was gonna say these seats too. they're
They're not
lower
bad.
level. They're legit. So these are some good seats. So if you guys haven't already to enter to win, I believe we're going to announce tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow
Right?
night, playbook by the Tar Pit with JJ Jones. We'll announce it tomorrow night on there. So be sure to tune in and stay tuned as we'll announce. And if you're so lucky to be chose, we'll give you a shout or a DM or something, and get in contact with you so you can figure out how to claim your prize. I think we'll probably give them 24 hours to respond or something like that. Give them till Friday before we have to
Yeah,
pick it up or
I
12
guess.
hours.
Yeah, yeah. We'll give them. You give it. Don't wait around. These things are can't miss tickets. So you're gonna want to be there for it. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Trev, let's start to warm up and get into it, man. Like I mentioned, Carolina takes on Duke this weekend. Another chapter in the battle for the victory bell. 3:30 kickoff inside Kenan Stadium. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be like. I saw there at the beginning of the week it was supposed to be a little bit clear, and then now it's looking like we've got a chance of some weather. But nonetheless, going to be exciting to be back in Chapel Hill. We're going to be live from 140 Social from 11 to 1:30. We're working on a guest lineup right now. Trev, I think you got a visitor right behind you, big dog. But we're going to be live from 140 Social, like I said, 11 to 1:30, working on a guest lineup now. So be sure to stay tuned for that announcement and where you can find this at for there. But I'm excited, man. This Duke Carolina matchup, I get excited for it every season. It's a game I grew up going to. As I remember going, my mom used to work at Duke, and she would get Carolina and Duke tickets every year in Wallace Way when they played. And I would always go to those games at Duke and saw some pretty good matchups when I was growing up. But nonetheless, excited to welcome the Blue Devils back to Kenan Stadium, and excited to have our guests on here shortly. Trev, how you feeling about the matchup?
I'm hoping, man. I go back to that clip we pulled of you earlier in the year talking about how that victory bell looks better Carolina blue.
Yeah,
I hope that we can paint that thing back Carolina blue, but I really don't know what we're gonna get, man. To be honest with you,
yeah.
so it'll be curious to see how this game plays out. But I am looking forward to being back at 140 Social. I'm glad we didn't get the noon kick. I was worried, they had held off on announcing the game time, and after Duke lost to UVA and our performance against Wake Forest, I was like, we're probably kicking off at noon. So
Cartoon
happy to.
Network.
Yeah, happy to at least get the 3:30 kick. So it'll be a good time in Chapel Hill. But senior day, we got a lot of seniors that have, some of them that's been here. Will Hardy comes to mind, man. He's been here his whole college career. He'll be honored. Kobe, your guy
Yep.
Kobe will be there. So senior day, it's going to be a big day. So I hope that our fans show up. We got some guys to support, and you can't ever. I mean, Duke, Carolina, man. It's even though it's not basketball, this is
The
still a huge rivalry.
the records go out the window even when these two play. Certainly in basketball, but in football this Saturday as well. But man, let's go ahead and get our guests on, guys. Tonight we welcome Jamie Holt and Josh Cox to the Section 17 podcast. We're gonna go ahead and pull them on here and get these guys on here. Guys, welcome to the Tar Pit, man. I'm excited. This is a sit down that I've long anticipated and looked forward to all season. Kind of circled it on my calendar, so to speak. But Josh, Jamie, welcome to the Tar Pit, man. Super excited to have you guys on. And yeah, man, welcome in. Floor is y'all's.
Yeah, man. No, thanks for having us, Troy. Man, I've known you for a heck of a long time, and your dad means a whole lot to me, man. And so I hate it that Jamie and I couldn't make it last year, but glad Scott could. But
Yep.
we're glad to come on and talk some football, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us. Also
Yes,
known your
sir.
dad forever. So
yeah. So kind of give all the folks that are tuned in tonight, guys. We appreciate you tuning in once again. But Josh, me and you go way back. You've known my dad all your life. You knew me before I even knew who you were. You said that last night. I was grateful enough to sit down with you guys and drop some Carolina knowledge on y'all's episode last night that you put out today. And I went back and watched it. I gained some pretty good Duke knowledge that we're going to talk about tonight a little bit. But yeah, man, those two we go way back. Most people don't know it, and I hadn't let Trevor and Chris know, but Josh was a teacher a grade up underneath me at Liberty Christian School in Durham.
Yep.
And I have a fond memory one day I'll share this because I've never told you this, Josh.
I don't know where this is going.
I had a fond memory of this. I'm in 6th grade at Liberty Christian School, just moved from Roxborough, North Carolina, the sticks, middle of nowhere, Person County. And go to Liberty, move in. We moved to Durham. And Josh, he's teaching 5th grade. But 5th and 6th grade shared the same lunch. So we all would go get our lunch. Well, I always brought my lunch more than likely, and usually it was a sandwich. One day, Josh walks up. 5th grade would always leave before 6th grade. Their lunch ended because they got there a little bit before. And Josh walks up, looks at our table, looks at everybody what they're eating for lunch. And I'm sitting there eating my sandwich. He goes and sticks his finger right in my sandwich. He said, "What kind of sandwich you got there?" And to this day, man, I have never forgot that memory, man. So
I'm glad I could make an impact on your life, man.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's one that stuck with you, huh, Troy?
Well, but between that and all those conversations you and Mr. Reagan used to have on the rocks or on the bench right there by the rocks, I didn't know what you guys were talking about at that time. But, hearing those conversations inspired me later on in my life to become a 3-time defending fantasy football champion. So I learned something from them many minutes spent on the rocks, listening to y'all talk about.
And then you and Jamie got the beach connection down there too, man.
Right,
Jamie's got that place at the beach, and
yes, sir. Yep.
Yep.
I remember meeting Jamie for the first time at the Walmart in Shiloh, and I just will never forget. I will never forget like me just thinking how like tall he was. I was like, damn, this dude is freaking tall. Like I mean, I'm short. I'm 5'6", so everybody's tall to me. But like, that was the first time I had seen him, and it was like completely opposite of what I had seen. You know what I mean? So, but nonetheless, guys.
Chris in here chirping early. Rivalry reek. I can't even talk tonight.
Hey, look, I mean, is he sick or not, man? You gonna come on and talk?
Nah, guys, we're excited to have you guys on. Talk a little bit about, before we get into the nuts and bolts of this thing, talk a little bit about Section 17. We had talked a little bit about this tonight. You guys kind of branching out and expanding the vision of what you guys are wanting to do with Duke athletics. Josh, you've got a pretty vast connection within, the NIL and those workings and stuff with Duke. But talk a little bit about, I'll give you guys the floor. Talk a little bit about what you guys do over at Section 17, some of your connections with Duke and what you guys do over there.
Yeah, I mean, Jamie, I guess I'll take this one. We started going to games together, man. We got 4 season tickets together, and Jamie and Scott and myself had known each other, forever. And then Brian, who's the 4th guy on our pod, had come into the picture. We were like, yeah, let's just get tickets together. So we got season tickets together. That started back in 2017. And then in 2018, we just started a Twitter handle just so we could like talk smack about Duke football and not be from our personal. Jamie doesn't abide by that, but Jamie's talk smack from his personal as well. But we started the pod Twitter handle, and then 2019 we had the idea to start a podcast, and we didn't do it because back in 2019 our thought was, while we're all kind of local around Durham and Raleigh, like trying to get together and record, like how we're going to do that and really make it right. And so we kind of left it. And then I'm not sure if you guys heard, in 2020 we had COVID. I'm not sure if you guys experienced that in Chapel Hill, but we experienced it in Durham. But COVID hit, and we were like, Zoom. And so we started realizing we could do more, and we hadn't really considered it, honestly. And so anyway, we started in 2020, media credentialed in 2022. Mike Elko's first, his introductory press conference was our first media. In fact, that was me and Jamie, I think, on that one. And then that grew into helping with Duke's NIL, providing some content for them. Ended up me working with Duke's NIL for a year and a half. And then this past year, so our audience is completely Duke football. And then about a month ago, we announced that we were going to move into covering basketball and covering baseball. And then honestly, any other Duke sport that we want. There's some really cool stuff that goes on in the Olympic sports, man, that not a lot of people talk about. And so like we're looking forward to doing kind of whatever we want to in the Duke space now.
Yeah. One thing I'll say and add to that, Josh, is, and one thing that I've respected about you guys and what y'all do with everything, in terms of Duke athletics and the new venture that you're going into, but that you do it as fans and passionate fans. Like I've known you for a while now. And even back then, when I was telling my 6th grade middle school story, I knew you were a diehard Duke fan then.
Yeah.
So the way you guys go about it and how you handle your business and the way you cover Duke and the manner in which you go about it, I wholeheartedly respect. After being in this space for 3 seasons now, I know the hard work and dedication. And Chris and Trevor, my guys, I can kind of speak for them on that. We all know what goes into running a successful podcast and platform, no matter the team that you're covering. So hats off to you guys, man. Welcome to the Tar Pit. I got to give you a round of applause. We didn't play the music for you, Trev. Should we play the music for him or no? Skip it.
Go ahead, play it.
We'll
I want to hear
skip
it, man.
it. You
Okay.
have it, Troy? Because I don't. We ain't got Chris with us.
I mean,
we're gonna look crazy.
Chris's fingers obviously still work, so you know.
No, we don't have it on. I mean, right. we probably do, but we'll get it again.
Well, no, can I say this? And I think Jamie would echo this. For those of you that follow the Tar Pit podcast, like, I know this sounds, if you're never done it, you're gonna think it sounds a little bit crazy. It's hard work, and not in like physical labor, but in like being consistent and actually showing up every week and actually talking about it and rearranging schedules and making sure things are covered. And you guys do an incredible job with like the media side of it and the digital, the visuals and graphics and all that. There's money that's spent, a lot of that stuff, man. And so like for your listeners, man, like make sure you guys like appreciate what these guys do, all the time. So there is more to it than just turning on a microphone.
I was sitting here listening to that opener. I'm like, wow, this is legit. Like this is great, actually.
So the first song is obviously brought to you by Eric Church, but the second one is a song that one of our listeners and followers on Twitter, Caleb, put together for us and sent it to us. And Chris, the wizard behind the screen, he put together the visual and the video for it. So we appreciate the round of applause, fellas. I really do appreciate that. But let's get into it. Trev, you got anything you want to add before we jump into it?
Yeah, I'll just say appreciate you guys. Appreciate the kind words. I got to give credit to our guy Chris, because last time we had Scott here, this was not running like this with all this going on. So you guys are getting the upper treatment, I guess you could say, with how we've grew this year. So I'm excited to get into this, though. I've cringed for this game in a way, because I can see it now. If we end up not winning this game, that Billy's first words was beat Duke will be all over Twitter. I'm sure you guys will post it. I remember when we were doing our prediction pod, I'm like, if we lose this game, Billy's first words were beat Duke is going to be everywhere. So get ready. So I'm excited to jump in here with y'all, though.
Pretty sure we'll have something ready. I mean, just in case.
Yeah. Our producer that kind of deals with, we have a separate guy that does that, and he is always up on, like, we feel like we're the official Duke, Twitter account, because like we have our victory, like, post, and it'll be something that'll, anyway, Tyler does a good job with that, and I'm sure he will have it ready.
He's already got it ready.
This year, he's got them ready to go, and then we've lost too many games, and so we don't even get to use them.
Yeah, Trev, we're going to get Hunter Oakley to do that for us. Just be our personal trash talker. Like, he can just come up with the wildest post for when we win.
There we go.
Trolling the other team.
We'll have to watch, though. We might get canceled if we let them go too far.
Yeah, that's true.
But
I almost got canceled earlier this year, so I know that.
Yeah, I saw that. I feel
Imagine that, Jamie.
Yeah, jeez.
But we'll jump in here, boys. So you were talking about the NIL, Josh, and my first question will kind of lead into that. So and I know Troy told us, hey, I talked to my guys. Some of that stuff you're seeing about Duke isn't true with NIL. They're definitely spending money, but I think what was told with your quarterback may have been hyped up a little. But nonetheless,
Now I will say this. I don't mean to cut you off, Trev. I didn't like confirm or deny anything. I was just I met, as soon as I seen that, I got on the phone with Jamie and was like, "Is this true?" Jamie was like, "I'm waiting to hear from Josh," or whatever. So, but nonetheless, go ahead.
I'll say, though, for your program and for our program, right? The money we spent, there was a higher expectation going into this one, right? So you guys, I'm looking here. You set it at 5-5, and I'm surprised, to be honest with you. I've watched you guys play it sparingly at times, and I'm like, dang man, this offense is explosive, right? Mensa's, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the ACC, right? He's put up good numbers for the past 2 years, but I guess and I shoot, going back a few weeks ago, it was Manny Diaz to Penn State's what I was seeing everywhere, So I guess my question would be, setting at 5-5 right now, what's kind of the pulse around the program heading into this game? How are you guys feeling, the fan base, and where are you at this point in the season?
Go ahead, Jamie.
We're not feeling great at all. Like, and the fan base is, I mean, honestly, there's people out there that are ready to fire Manny Diaz after just this year. I think you look back at the 9-3 season last year, there was a schedule played that was quite a bit weaker, in my opinion, and that kind of set us up for this year, where there were very high expectations for this Duke team. Like, I'm talking, ACC title obviously was a thing that was discussed, and they just haven't delivered for whatever reason. The losses to Tulane and UConn kind of sting me a little bit, but the defense has underperformed, and now instead of Manny Diaz to Penn State, we're hearing Duke fans, can we fire the entire coaching staff?
It's crazy how the roller coaster can go, because a few weeks back can we fire our staff? Then our defense goes on a roll for a few weeks, and it's like, oh, we see it now, it's working, and then now it's like, we don't know, man. Should we keep them around? So I can see that.
No, and to your point about NIL, I mean, Duke did go out and spend. It was well documented. And the talk from last year, Duke goes 9-3. And basically they were saying the only thing we were missing to make it over the hump is the quarterback. Like, Malik Murphy was not the quarterback for the system and for the offense that Jonathan Brewer, the offensive coordinator, wants to run. So let's go out and get the guy. So let's go into like Madden mode and like, hey, Jonathan Brewer, create a player. And when you put in the create a player and you put it through the system and you put it through the analytics, here's the guy. Literally, Duke has they use that analytics program that's like, Duke basketball uses it as well, but it's like super intelligent. And he was the number 2 quarterback in the country based upon what Jonathan Brewer wanted in a quarterback. And the guy that was number 1 was not in the portal. So it's like Duke got their guy at quarterback. And so the expectation this season was, okay, the defense is going to be good because this is Manny Diaz defense. I mean, this is like top 3 to 5 defense in the country everywhere he's been. So the defense is going to be good. So just fix the offense, and we're going to be playing for a spot in the ACC title game. That was the thought going into the season. And what we've seen is the offense has performed, and there's been some inconsistencies. But look, what fan base doesn't think their offensive coordinator doesn't know how to call plays properly, right? Like, every fan base has that, right? So there's a little bit of that, but like, the offense has been very good. Had a little bit of hiccup last week. Been very good. Darian Mintz's numbers speak for themselves. I know we'll talk about it. Cooper Barkate, all those guys. But the defense has been – Jamie was kind when he said underperforming. Horrendous. Like 120th in the country or something like that.
Yeah.
In defense, our secondary is like Swiss cheese, man. It's like for some reason we don't get to the quarterback, which is a staple of the Manny Diaz defense. And then we play the soft zone to where like the 4 of us could take turns at quarterback and find an open spot in the zone because they got time and you're playing a soft zone. So anyway, that Duke fans are frustrated about that. And obviously here Duke sits 5-5. And honestly, there's a good chance that Duke doesn't win another game. I mean, This is not an easy game, and Wake Forest is playing some dang good football.
Yeah. And last year with the 9-3 team, that havoc type defense that Manny Diaz likes to play, they
were hell.
Yeah, they created the turnovers. They got to the quarterback. They were top. What were they, Josh? Top 5 in tackles for loss.
Yeah.
And then they created the turnovers.
Top 5 red zone defense last year.
Yeah. Which in turn got them to a 9-3 record. But this year they're not getting to the quarterback. Not nearly as often. It started the season. I mean, now VJ Anthony's getting to the quarterback. He was started the season red hot, but for the most part, it's just not happening. And you saw
Yeah.
last week with UVA, the quarterback was able to just sit back there and pick Duke apart.
So I want to kind of pick your brain on this. Like we've heard from you guys on kind of I guess what the fan base and from an outsider outside looking in kind of temperature is and a vibe check. Carolina on the flip has had some some off the field stuff that they've kind of had to deal with. I don't necessarily think Duke has had that much to deal with in terms of like off the field media and everything like that. But there were times, during this season that us as a fan base at Carolina kind of questioned the relationships inside the locker room. I was and us over here at the Tar Pit were firm believers that look, it'll work itself out. You can't really, take everything with a grain of salt when you hear it until Carolina says something about it. What would you guys say the locker room temperature is? I know you guys. One thing that I like about you guys, and for all the Duke fans that are tuned in, you guys know who these two are. But for our viewers, these guys do a good job of covering inside the program. They're connected. They're inside with the coaches and everything like that. So what would y'all say the locker room temperature is, or the coaching staff temperature too?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously, once the season starts, we don't get access to practice or anything anymore.
Yeah.
But we have developed relationships for sure, and I mean, you are seeing a little bit of the chirping a little bit publicly, which is kind of always a head scratcher. Like you see like cryptic tweets from like Nate Shepard, for instance, just tweets out an emoji after the game that had people like freaking out, right? Like his dad's like retweeting people that are talking about him not getting enough touches, and stuff like that. So you got a little bit of that. But I will say this, and I'm not, this is not you guys have had, I feel bad for your players because the amount of media attention around
It's crazy, man.
Bill and everything else is like, it's crazy. But like you guys have had a couple players leave the program, mid-season.
Mm-hmm.
And like, we've got a player that is didn't play after his fourth game, who was going to be in the rotation and has been in the rotation for the last couple of years. And he's obviously going to be moving on in the portal, but like Duke, it's not been public. Like he just is not playing anymore. And I think last week was the first game he actually didn't dress for. He was just in sweats. And so Duke, honestly, it's a little bit, they're pretty tight knit, man. And Duke stays that way. Coach speak a little bit here, but like Manny's like one of the reasons why I came to Duke is because David Feely was a strength and conditioning coach, and I called David Feely, and David Feely said, "You're not going to find a better locker room." And so Duke, I will give the Duke football program credit. Like their guys are pretty bought in, even with the Darian Mensah stuff and all the the numbers that get thrown around there. Darian has done a really good job of like making sure he is a good leader and a good teammate, and I believe he has like the utmost respect of the guys in the locker room. Jamie, you can add any perspective on that.
Well, I think even when Mensah signed with Duke, he brought in receivers to like Florida
and linemen and his O-line
and linemen, just to get to know him, get together with him, practice. So he's been a good leader, and there hasn't really been any noticeable locker room problems. I mean, in the wins, you see them celebrating, and it doesn't look like any major issues or anything like that to us as outside observers.
What led me to that question was last night I was on with you guys, and Brian had mentioned about I want to say like a lack of effort on the field, and like Manny celebrating with the team, and then at other times he's like non-existent. You know what I mean? That was kind of what my question was based off of. Like at 5-5, obviously, the season hasn't went the way honestly, me as a Carolina fan, but as a college football fan and an ACC fan, like Duke, I came into the season like Duke's got something to play for this year. And to be sitting at 5-5, I'm just as shocked. But now, don't get me wrong, I still respect them. They're a dangerous 5-5 football team. Like they can when they're firing on all cylinders, they can beat anybody.
Yeah.
But
No, I think what you're hitting at there, Manny is a player's coach, number one.
Yeah.
And he definitely shies away from any sort of like public negativity.
Mhm.
And I would say that the fan base gets a little frustrated with that. It's like a mild-mannered football coach is kind of a tough sell. And I mean, you guys see it with Bill a little bit. Like, there's probably some people that want to see emotion a little bit more. And so as far as that's concerned, I think that's a difficult thing. I think for 2 years, Duke got used to the Mike Elko style, which is a lot more in your face and a lot more, he'll go at somebody. And I mean, we tell the funny story of like one of his first practices is Mike Elko making one of our starting tight end. He fumbled a ball or something. And he made him do up downs in front of his parents. Parents were at that practice, and he literally made him walk and stand in front of his parents and start doing them. Like, yeah, that was just the kind of coach he was. He was just like not no nonsense guy. And Manny he's more cognizant of like players, and he's definitely a friendlier, more chill guy. And sometimes when you lose football games and your coach is that way,
that was frustrating.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was frustrating with me about Matt. Like there were times where he would just be like, and for what it's worth, like I respect Matt, like everything he did for Carolina, like cool, you know what I mean? But it would always bump because he would always give off that old grandpa kind of vibe. And we've had players on our podcast that hold Mac Brown in high regard that played for him. You know what I mean? So that's no slight to Mac at all, but we can relate to that. And it's frustrating when you watch your team lose 4 of the last 5 games with a third overall pick quarterback and an NFL running back beside him, a first round NFL pick running back beside him. You know what I mean? And in the year 9-5. So
well, what's funny is we know Manny has it in him just from last year's Duke Carolina game actually, because when Duke was down by so much at halftime, Duke released the YouTube video of Manny's halftime speech, and it was very emotional and like had me ready to run down on the field and tackle somebody, even though that would have been a mistake, and I probably would have tore a hammy or something like that. But I mean, it was great, and we've seen it from Manny. But then we see the stoic Manny that's like, and that's where everyone seems to get pretty frustrated. Like when a referee makes a call, like you just kind of want to see Manny lose it.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't. He's stone cold.
I will add one thing with Manny too. But when you come in your first year and win 9 games, following up what Mike Elko did, the expectations around Duke football has really elevated over the past few years. So when you win 9 games in your first year, if you don't meet those expectations, especially in the NIL era, right, where you're getting
with
all
the
these
foundation
money
he laid
spent.
too.
Yeah, so you're going to have but like I said at the beginning, it's just wild to see how fast things can turn, because I remember Penn State's like, bring Manny Diaz back. And now, like at the beginning, you guys are like, well, we're not sure if we want him anymore. We're going to see how this thing ends, right? But one thing I want to go into, man, and we've already talked about him a little bit, but Darian Mensah, I remember when he was I want to say mostly every recruiting site had him as the number 1 quarterback in the portal. You guys said he was your number 1 target, and he hasn't disappointed this year. I'm looking at your numbers. You guys are 8th nationally with 302 passing yards per game, 33 points per game, which ranks 31st in the country. And then the offense at 432 yards per game is 29th in the country. So has it been all Mensah? Does he have some guys around him? Is it the offensive coordinator? Can you guys dive a little bit into the offense side of things for us?
Yeah, I mean, so it begins with Darian. That's for sure. I mean, I will say, once again, as we're scouting, is helping you kind of get a look inside of Duke football. Darian does not run the ball a lot, if at all. The big thing is he can obviously put the ball where he wants it, and then he also can extend the play. Duke really liked the fact that he could stay in the pocket. Sometimes that does mean he takes a few more sacks than what probably we would like, but he does stay in the pocket for longer. And he can make plays that way. But then on the offensive side, you also have the O-line for the season has played really well, and that our running backs, Nate Shepard's a true freshman, that really took over RB1 about week 4 or 5, and he had a couple. This is a clip of him right here. But Nate Shepard is a special back, man. He's a special back, and I know you were alluding to Hampton, that you guys had all that time. He's got kind of that, like, man, this kid's going to be good. He can play at the next level type of kid. So there is some help there. But the offense, all in all, the offense is as advertised. Last week, for some reason, we couldn't block. We couldn't keep people away. We couldn't open up holes. Maybe Virginia, maybe they're just that good. I have no idea. But the offense no-showed last week. But outside of that, the offense has been the bright spot on this team for the whole season.
How's your offensive line? I'm guessing, looking at Mintz's numbers, they got to be pretty good as well.
Yeah, so we brought back 4 out of 5. We actually brought back 5, and then one of the guys blew his knee out during spring ball. But so that was an all returning class. Brian Parker, right guard, he'll be a NFL guy for sure. Similar to like a Graham Barton who went to the NFL from Duke a couple of years ago in Tampa now. Brian Parker's that guy. Justin Pickett's got the body for it. Just a big guy. And I don't know if his game should translate. But anyway, the offensive line's been good. I would say they definitely run block a whole lot better this year. Last year, the run blocking was a challenge for this line. This year, I feel like they run block better. They maybe not pass block quite as good, but also the time that Darian stays and holds on to the football is way more than what we were used to last year.
And also Mensa tends to like move around a lot. Like, even though he doesn't run, if the pocket starts to collapse a little bit, he doesn't necessarily step up. He kind of moves
pocket
around.
Presence.
He moves around and tries to let Cooper Barkate or Queso Brown, whoever, get open. Samir Hagans. I mean, Duke's got some weapons at wide receiver, like that are.
They do.
When we went out and got Cooper Barkate. A lot of people think, well, he's from Harvard. How good could he be? But he was very highly touted coming out of high school. And he chose to go to Harvard, and now he's at Duke. So who's going to be able to say you got a degree from Harvard and you're going to have a degree from Duke? That's wild. But Cooper's been as advertised, just been great.
Yeah, he is a guy that I have held in high regard this season. I've watched him play. I've watched Duke play a few times this season. And while you guys have alluded to it, some of the offensive struggles there that you just mentioned, it's an offense, man, that when it's clicking, and you said it too, it's the strongest unit for your team. There's some question marks at on defense, but when it comes to the skill position, it starts with 18. That dude is legit. I mean, he's the real deal. But hey, I wanted to talk to you guys about this and kind of pick your brain. I watched a little bit of Manny Diaz's press conference today, and you had mentioned your O-line, and Jamie, you had mentioned about him holding the ball too long. But one of the points that was made to Manny today, when they asked about Darian's decision-making process, holding on to the ball too long against Virginia. Darian even said it, I think, after the game, his decision-making needs to be more crisp in order to kind of offset this Carolina pass rush that they're going to have to deal with this year. Because, guys, I was on y'all's podcast last night, and I was kind of confidently throwing out that Melcart and Tyler Thompson were top 20 nationally. I went back and looked this morning. Melcart's 6th nationally, like respectively. He's 6th nationally in sacks, and Tyler Thompson's tied for like 16th. So we've got 2 guys that are top 20 that Duke's going to have, which we hope they have their hands full with this Saturday. We'll see. But talk a little bit about Duke coming into this game has lost 2 straight to UConn and Virginia. And while you guys have been efficient on offense, some of the struggles that I've heard recently is the ability to protect the quarterback. And Manny said that it goes back to everybody's responsibility to protect the quarterback, how they run their routes, running backs blocking tight ends at times. What has went into some of the offensive, I guess, setbacks while they have been efficient over the course of this season. What has been some of the setbacks the last 2 games offensively, if there have been any?
Yeah, I would say, one of the things is throughout the season, our running backs have blocked very well. Anderson Castle, transfer from App, is a grown man. He's short yardage back. Like, he is a grown man. He falls forward. Like, he's just
stocky
that guy.
too.
Stocky dude, man. And here's the thing. He also can break it. Like, he doesn't have a ton of speed, but like he's had his fair share of long runs this year too. So he's a stud, man, at RB2. But he pass blocks really well. But for some reason, these last couple of weeks, even him, if you really watch the plays where like we're getting blown up, or like, where it's been like a 3rd and 7 and like Darian's been sacked, there's been issues even picking up blitzes from the running back position. And so like that's a problem. There's been a little bit of like one of our left guard, I believe, got benched during last game. He was not out there randomly, and then he wasn't in the tent and he wasn't in the locker room. And so you have to wonder, he was on the injury report. So like, you're assuming he got benched. And so there's been a little bit of that. And it does make you as a Duke fan nervous on when you bring in a team with a Bill Belichick defense and you bring in a team with the 2 guys that you mentioned that are obviously getting to the quarterback. So then I think it's on the Duke offensive coordinator to say, okay, what's the scheme? Like, how are we gonna counter what we know we're gonna get? And it'll be interesting to see past play 15, right? The scripted 15, what the Duke offense does.
It's going to be, strength versus strength, right? I was looking through your stats, Troy. 37th nationally for Carolina's defense, 43rd, 22 points per game, 114 rushing yards allowed. That's top 30. That's 26. Like, that's a really good defense.
It's stingy.
That's the type of defense that Duke wishes that we could have with our offense. So that's going to be an interesting situation. And I think, looking back, sometimes with the offense, one of the problems is we have abandoned the run too soon. Now, I'm not sure against Virginia really what happened. The offense kind of appeared to be just shell-shocked, like almost like Virginia just overpowered them. But against UConn, I feel like we abandoned the run pretty quickly. Even in the second half, when Nate Shepherd was really, really getting off big runs against UConn, started abandoning it. And sometimes I think, while I love Mensa, don't get me wrong, sometimes I think it's throwing the ball too much and abandoning the run too quickly.
Yeah, I was looking and I was like, man, if they're passing it this efficient, do they ever run the ball? Like, with the passing numbers where y'all rank nationally. But before we turn the page, I do got one more on the offensive side of the ball. So I know we've talked about some of the playmakers in Mensa, Brown, Shepherd, and Cooper. Is there a guy that we haven't talked about tonight that you guys could see as a key in this matchup, or somebody to look out for?
Yeah, I think Jamie would probably agree with me here. Duke has, over the last 2 to 3 weeks, seemed to use the tight end position a little bit more. And so there's a kind of a 2-headed monster there at tight end. Jeremiah Hazley is more of your traditional tight end. He's a good pass catcher, but he's a really good blocker. But he had, I think, 85 receiving yards last one of the 2 games. And then Landon King is a Utah transfer. He's more of a receiver tight end, but man, he's mossed a couple guys this year. He's a guy you can throw it up to. He's going to go get it. And those would be the tight end room would be for me.
Yeah, I would agree with Josh there. Hazley just seems to get open in big situations. I wish we would use the tight end room more, because looking back on Jonathan Brewer's offense previously before he came to Duke, he used the tight end quite a bit. Am I right, Josh?
Yeah, SMU, his last season where he was calling plays as a co-coordinator, I don't know if he was fully calling plays, but as a co-coordinator, I think his starting tight end had like 7 TD receptions and 500 plus yards receiving. And so it's like,
And
Oh,
here at
we'll
Duke,
take that.
That's
it
pretty
hasn't been that
daggone
way.
good.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
They haven't
Daggone.
used a tight end nearly as much, but Duke does have two, like Josh said, two major weapons at tight end in Hazley and King.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Man, we appreciate you guys dropping your knowledge on all things with the Duke offense. It's like I told you all before. It's a unit that when they're clicking can be really, really explosive. And I'm of the firm belief that Carolina's defense has to be on its P's and Q's. I've been of the mindset lately with our defense that it's consistency and doing the little things right when you're playing well. And it's no secret that Carolina's defense is the reason why they've been able to sort of rally and somewhat save the season, I guess. Now, they still have 2 opportunities to play and really capitalize and shift some momentum here. But that Duke offense, man, when they're clicking, it's can be fireworks. So I want to transition to the defensive side of the football, and give me a little bit while I bring up my notes.
Do we have to?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay.
We have a saying over here at the Tar Pit, and I didn't really coin it as a saying, but Chris and Trevor kind of ran with it. Win, lose, or draw, we talk about it all.
There you go.
That was one saying that I came
There
up
you
with.
go.
But look, this is John. How do you say your defensive coordinator's last name? Is it
Packy.
Packy?
Packy. Yep.
Yeah. This is his second season as a Duke defensive coordinator. Last year, Jamie, you had said it. I believe it was you, Jamie. Last year's defense was a stingy bunch. That was a pretty solid overall defense, and Elko had some pretty stingy defenses during his tenure. Some really, really, really good defenses. What has been kind of, what's been the overall performance this year? I know you guys have alluded to some struggles and it being sort of the weaker link of the team. What has went into that this season, and kind of what are y'all's thoughts on your defense overall that's led to these struggles?
I mean, to me, it's like I discussed earlier. I mean, if you can't create the havoc plays in Manny Diaz's defense like they did last year, and the quarterback is able to just sit back there and just pick that soft zone apart, and that's a problem. And a big issue, and Josh can expand more on this, is the fact that we got some injuries back in the secondary. Terry, he's out. Terry Moore, he's been out since the bowl game where he blew his ACL, and won't play this year. And there was another injury, Josh, that is escaping.
Well, yeah, we've been without. I mean, Musa Kane was out this past week. We've had at least one of our DBs out every game. Kamari Robinson, Landon Callahan. Like, there's been injuries throughout the whole secondary. So here's the deal. Last year, Duke. So from the starting secondary last year, you had Cam Bergeron, graduated. Jalen Stinson, graduated. Terry Moore blew his ACL out in the blowout game. Frustrating. Josh Pickett graduated. So Chandler Rivers is the only thing in the secondary that's left. They go land a couple of people in the portal. Caleb Weaver, Sam Houston State, but highly touted kid. Jalen Francois. And then they were going to kind of by committee, they were going to pull a couple of the younger guys up, Kamari Robinson, Landon Callahan, we mentioned, to play that other DB spot. Well, just got to be honest, man, that secondary is porous and they are leaky. Chandler's good. Chandler's great. Chandler is, he is who he is. I think we're showing his interception. Yeah, his interception right here. I mean, listen.
Chandler's going to be in the NFL.
He'll play in the NFL. He's good. But he's not had any help. And then the linebacker position, we lost Nick Morris Jr., who was our Mike linebacker. Lost him in the second game of the season. This is the second year in a row. He's missed the entire season, basically. I lost him. Kendall Johnson, who provides depth at linebacker, is out. I guess he's out for the season at this point. Don't know. Elliott Shopper, a true freshman who had an incredible game against Cal, out for the season. It's insane. Trey Freeman, who's our senior, would be a leader in the linebacker room, is legitimately gets hurt every single game. Like there's not a game where he does not limp off and he's out for a series or two. So like it's just one of those years, man, where you in hindsight, you really wish you could have landed, another linebacker or two in the portal and definitely another, guy or two in the secondary.
When you talk about Rivers, man, I remember I think early in the year some people had him tabbed as like a first round, second round pick. So he was a guy that I was excited to watch this year. Other than him, though, I know you talked about all these guys you've lost. Who else? Like who's the guy on defense? I guess if we're looking at somebody to look at on defense other than Rivers, what would you say?
I mean, I would watch out for VJ Anthony. I mean, he leads the team in sacks. He's the best at getting to the quarterback. If Duke can get to the quarterback, he's going to be the guy. But yeah, Chandler is the leader of the defense. He's the heart and soul of it. Teams kind of tend to not go his way. I mean, because he locks down whoever he's on, whatever side of the field he's on, he locks it down.
Yeah, I will say that the struggles for the defense have been in the second and third level. Like the D-line, injury-free for the most part, very deep. I mean, 10 deep on that D-line. You'll see a lot of rotation in and out. Interior on the ends, on the edges. Bryce Davis is the number one recruit in Duke football history, is a part of the rotation. Hasn't really had that moment yet. I mean, hey, Duke Carolina game would be a great one, I guess, for him. He's a North Carolina kid. So
he's a sophomore, right? If I remember,
no, he's a
right.
true freshman.
Oh,
True
he's
freshman.
freshman.
Where'd he come from? Because he committed to
right?
he committed to Clemson and then flipped to you guys.
He's from Greensboro. So he's from Greensboro.
Yeah.
And he played with Faison, whatever the quarterback.
Grimsley.
Yeah, Grimsley.
Yeah, Grimsley. Yeah. But Bryce has been okay. Bradley Gompers is another guy in the linebacker room. But really, if you're going to look at this Duke defense, it is on the line. Wesley Williams is a team captain, plays opposite edge from VJ Anthony. But those are the guys that you're going to see that are going to get to the quarterback. If they get to the quarterback, it's going to be them. And they really make this thing go. And I will say this, if there's any chance that this Duke defense is going to show up, it's going to be because the line has just played incredibly.
I will add, it may be this weekend just because our offense has been so inefficient. So if they're going to show up, it'll probably be this weekend, unfortunately. I hate to say it.
I was going to ask you guys, Trevor, speaking of those Carolina offensive inefficiencies, Josh, Jamie, you guys know it. I don't know how much Carolina football you have watched, but obviously you guys have probably, heard about our struggles on offense and some of the frustrating and head scratching moments that we've had throughout the course of this season, and not only moments, but performances. But I kind of want to pick y'all's brain on a personal level, man. With the inefficiencies of the Carolina offense and overall struggles, do you guys feel like this is a game that Duke feels they can kind of coast a little bit on defense and try to, try some different things to kind of get by with, those Carolina struggles on offense? Or are y'all giving Carolina's offense a little bit more credit than most people are at this point?
We don't mind if they want to coast. So if you boys tell them at media day, I don't know if Manny's.
I know that's kind of a tricky question, but I just kind of want to. I mean, obviously, if there's a game where Duke's going to try something crazy on defense with you talk about Duke's stat rankings on defense, you go check out Carolina's stat rankings on offense outside of rushing yards per game.
I'm looking at it.
It's bad.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
And not only just stats, but just performance overall. It's terrible. So if there's a week that they're going to try something funky or kind of throw some different packages out there, it'll be this week.
I will say I'm sure that Manny Diaz is going to want to create pressure on Gio Lopez. I mean, that's an obvious thing that I think that if they can create some pressure on Gio Lopez, maybe force him into some mistakes, and then maybe the defense can turn him over, possibly. Or as one of our guys on our podcast, Scott, said, our defense could also turn Gio Lopez into Tom Brady. So, as we've done with other quarterbacks this year.
Yeah, we didn't know Chandler Morris was a Heisman contender at Virginia, but we turned him into that last Saturday. But no, I really I think obviously I believe Duke plays the run defense a little bit better than they are pass defense. And so that once again is kind of funny because as you mentioned, you guys are a better running team than you are a throwing team. So
Yeah.
It is going to be it is the obvious matchup to watch, right? It is to me the Duke defense versus the Carolina offense is way more intriguing than the Duke offense versus the Carolina defense, in my opinion.
Think so?
I honestly, because I'm just psycho weird like that. Like I want to see like they're like two inept sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And like what the heck is it going to look like
versus weakness on weakness? Right?
You put two negatives together, see if they create a positive. We might have some pretty damn good football.
Gio Lopez might throw some dimes and then he might throw a couple pick sixes. Like you never know. Like I mean that could be the way this game goes, and like it is very intriguing to me. Obviously the normal person and fan is going to be like, okay, what's this Duke offense look like against Belichick's defense, right? Obviously, that's a sexy thing.
Yeah.
But I'm really intrigued about what that other matchup is. Really intrigued.
I mean, objectively speaking, as we're media, so we have to be objective. This is one of the worst Duke defenses that I've seen in quite some time. I mean, and we've had some bad defenses. Let's be honest.
You guys say
dark days happened.
Is it all the secondary? I mean, it's kind of what I'm getting out of us talking. Or
the secondary is pretty bad, but it's caused by, to Jamie's point earlier, and I don't know all of the scheme, details, but I know Manny has said multiple times his defense only works if they're creating havoc. Yeah. It only works if the TFLs and the sack numbers are at an elite level, and they're not. And here's the deal. The crazy thing is the D line is like the most stable part of the unit, which that's what makes me scratch my head about the defense. Like the D line should be doing their job. And I don't know if they're having to adjust the scheme because like we literally are trotting out true freshmen. Like there was a fourth quarter drive in the UConn game where 3 out of our 4 secondary members were true freshmen. There have been full segments of a quarter where we have had 2 true freshmen in at linebacker. So listen, that's tough. And so I don't know, man. I wish I had the answer. If I had the answer, I'd be on the phone with Manny right now being like, hey bro, I think I figured this thing out. I got nothing.
And honestly, with all that youth, I mean, next year could be a lot better. But this year it's just been a ride. It's been not necessarily a fun ride, but it's been a ride.
Your DC, was he there last year? I don't know. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And last year, like we talked before, they created the havoc plays. But there was a lot more experience in that secondary, as Josh alluded to, and they were able to create the havoc plays. They were able to get the turnovers. This year, not so much.
Hey, Josh, one thing, you talk about, your eyes being on the Carolina offense versus the Duke defense. One thing I'll kind of give you a little bit to watch out for, and we'll allude to this before we go into the playbook tomorrow night with JJ Trevor, is, while Carolina does run the ball pretty efficiently, I would say statistic wise, they do. I've been noticing they're trying to expand the passing game. Like they've identified that they cannot run the ball. It's not going to work in college football. And you've seen them get somewhat creative in the expansion of our passing game. And what I mean by that is, getting the running backs more involved. Like you could see Damon June could break off a 70-yard inside zone run, or he could catch a 70-yard screen pass. You know what I mean? Benjamin Hall, same way. So if I kind of give you anything, my friend, to watch out for with those two is the expansion of the Carolina passing game and just how that looks on Saturday versus what you guys are saying are some inefficiencies on your defense, particularly in the secondary. Because it's an offensive game plan that Carolina has been trying to work and get more involved, because I've said it on our podcast, in order for Carolina to finish this year off strong and carry some kind of momentum going into next season, they have to expand the passing game. You have to get some consistency going there. And going into this Duke game, Carolina, us as fans, we don't have an identity on offense, and that's been frustrating for us over on this side. But they've tried to get creative with it. So if I had to give you anything to look out for, it would be that the expansion of Carolina's passing game versus the Duke passing defense. So,
well, I would give you one scheme thing to look for on Duke's defense. Then I believe that Duke is better, and I know that there are a lot of people calling for Duke to just go ahead and gamble, go ahead and man up more in the secondary, take your lumps on every now and then. You're going to give up the bomb, but to stop giving up the 8, 9, 10 yards. You know what I mean, at a time on these third down and sevens, you know, where they're playing the soft zone for some reason. And so I would maybe look at Duke, maybe it's saying we're going to gamble a little bit more, maybe bring a little bit more pressure, blitz packages, and we're going to man up a little bit more in the secondary. And once again, you just take your lumps, especially in the college game too, like, yeah. And what's the worst thing to happen on a deep bomb? Like, get a pass interference. It's only a 15-yard penalty. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like in the NFL, that's a little bit different story, spot of the foul. But like in college, it's like, hey, do your best, bro. And like, I would much rather see those inexperienced DBs being thrown in the fire like that and see what happens. But we'll see if Pat Key does anything like that. But I know that Duke fans are like, let's just take our chances and let's man up.
Because against Virginia, I mean, Duke put them in so many like third and long situations throughout the game, but every time
couldn't get off the field.
We'd be sitting there, couldn't get off the field. It would be 3rd and 14. Yeah. They'd get 17 yards. And it's extremely frustrating.
Yeah, Manny talked about today giving y'all's offense more at bats, and he said it was a huge deal, especially playing on the road going into Kenan State. And we'll see what the crowd looks like, but it's going to be interesting to see, because that's a side. If you flip it and look at Carolina, their struggles have been inconsistencies on sustaining drives, particularly in the first half. So, I mean, guys, if I'm being honest with you, I could see it probably going one or two ways. Carolina starts slow and Duke shreds us apart or on offense and builds a comfortable lead at halftime, or we keep it close, bank on our defense, being aggressive and winning those matchups, and it being a game of situations. Who wins those situations, which team has the discipline to win those. You know what I mean? That's in a game like that, it's very fitting for the Bill. You get where I'm coming from?
Oh yeah, we do.
Hey, we do. Troy said that Bell looks better Carolina blue. I don't know what y'all's thoughts are on that.
You know what? Listen, in a rivalry that has included a jump pass for you guys to win it, and then also your guy throwing a 2-hand pick six back a few years ago.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, what more do you want from a rivalry, right? It's also, like terrible play that results in wins. And then what's even crazier is 2 years ago we go into Kenan with our true freshman 3rd string quarterback, and somehow he goes freaking toe to toe with Drake May.
That was crazy.
We go into that was
double overtime.
Hey, our defense somehow knew how to turn backup quarterbacks into Heisman contenders. Yeah. So you guys talk about Chandler Morris. Well, that defense a few years ago would do that to backups like crazy.
And this rivalry also has my worst memory basically in all of college football. Duke was poised to win the game in Wallace Wade, and I think Josh probably knows where I'm going with this. Carolina kicks a field goal to win. And he runs right over to that. Was it inflated helmet or something, Josh?
Yeah, it's like in the 80s, 1990 or whatever it was.
Yeah. And he kicked it, and the thing just like deflated or whatever.
Dude, my worst memory, and I'll give you guys credit for this, it was like 2014, 15, 16, somewhere around in there. You beat us in Wallace Wade, and I think you put 60 plus on the board. And I was living in Baltimore at the time, and I drove down for the freaking game. 5-hour drive, and I think it was 63 to something when it was over, and I was like, never again. I will not.
Those are the worst. It takes you days to recover after those, right? It's Wake Forest wasn't even that far last, hour and a half, and I'm like, 2 days, it feels like I got punched in the face, man. I'm just
Yep.
like, what is
Yep.
going on?
I tell you
So-
what, man, I've been to many Carolina games. I've been Carolina Duke games. I know you guys have too. But growing up, like I remember us going into Wallace Wade when Anthony Boone was y'all's quarterback. Y'all, yeah, that was the year, I think, maybe the year or the year after y'all had competed for the ACC championship game. Because didn't Boone take you to Charlotte?
2013. That was the ACC championship year. That was the year we played A&M in the Chick-fil-A Bowl.
Carolina had no shot at going into Wallace Wade and winning that game. And I remember Tim Scott picking up the fumble and running it. That was when Carolina had those ugly, terrible looking, like little futuristic uniforms. And I remember going to that game. And then I know we play at Keenan, but my two fondest memories have both been in Wallace Wade. Is a few years ago sitting with you guys in Section 17. And Duke seemingly has the game in the bag, like a minute 30 left. I leave you guys. I'm like, congratulations, good to see you. I'm gonna go ahead and try to beat the crowd. Ashley goes in to use the restroom, and I'm sitting there watching the game. I look up, it's a minute and 12 left. We've got the ball on the 20-yard line, I think it is. And that's when Caleb Hood darts down the sideline and sets Carolina up for what would be the Antoine Green touchdown that everybody thought he ran out of bounds on and came back in. But man, it's a fun rivalry, man. You know, it doesn't get enough credit. You know, I know Carolina fans kind of look at next week as more of the football rivalry. But I'm telling you, this matchup this weekend has provided some pretty good moments here recently too, historically, but here recently.
Yeah, and we respect that rivalry that you guys have with State. It's fun for us because we just get to kind of be the bystanders and watch you guys hate on each other for 7 days.
Well, if you guys want to shed some light on how to beat them, you call up the higher ups that may be at Carolina and give them something, dude, because y'all have had their number. Y'all have had their number for 5 years now, and they've had ours for 5 years.
It's been pretty crazy, man. And I'll say their fan base has gotten a little bit more volatile against Duke. Like typically we were kind of like, you know, there was like a little bit of common, you know, like the old ABC old school.
Everybody hates Carolina, right?
Yeah, man. And it's not been that way the last couple of years, man. It's become the Duke State rivalry has become definitely on the fan side. There's a whole lot more chirping. And like we went to Raleigh last year, and boy, there was a lot going on around that Duke section in Raleigh.
Oh, I'm telling you, man, they've I've debated and gone back and forth of going to Raleigh next weekend. The year before last, I went to Raleigh, and I'd rather not share how I exited that game with y'all two, but Trevor knows. But it's definitely an interesting thing. Guys, we're going to let you go. We appreciate you jumping on, Josh, Jamie, with the Section 17 podcast. We appreciate you jumping on and giving us some time to drop some Duke football knowledge. You guys do it better than anybody that I can think of. So we appreciate you taking the time and jumping on with us. Trev, you got anything else you want to add before we close out? Josh, Jamie, y'all feel free to jump in here too.
No, I was just going to say thank you, boys. You guys were awesome. Appreciate y'all. I know, Josh, I believe you said you wouldn't be there. Or both of you, either of you guys going to be there? No?
Yeah, we're sitting this one out, man. I'm telling you, Chapel Hill is not the easiest, not the best place for us to go, brothers. I'm just telling you guys. So
yeah,
we'll be watching. We'll be watching from afar.
Hey, it's all good, brother. Well, we appreciate, like I said, we appreciate you guys jumping on. Guys, stay tuned. We'll be live from 140 Social on Saturday on Franklin Street in downtown Chapel Hill. Also, reminder, go on Twitter, guys. Follow us on Twitter at Tar Pit Pod. Comment on our ticket giveaway post and tag someone and repost the post. You can enter to win a chance. You can enter your chance to win 2 free Carolina Duke tickets with pretty good seats from what we've seen. So, like always, guys, we appreciate you tuning in wherever you've caught us from, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're tuned in. We appreciate you guys. This has been the Tar Pit Scouting Report. Shout out to our sponsors, our partners, Shrunken Head Tailgate. Use the code TarPitPod for 15% off online and in store at both stores over on Franklin Street. So, guys, we appreciate you again. We're going in this thing the only way we know how.
You guys can join us on this if you'd like. So, how do we end it, Troy? What is it? Until next time.
Go Heels.
Go Heels.
Hey Tar Pit crew, thanks for hanging with us today. Quick shout out. Today's episode is powered by Untapped Sports Network. Big thanks to them for the support. If you like this episode, do us a favor. Like it, drop a comment, and share it with a friend. That kind of support goes a long way in keeping the podcast rolling. Make sure you're subscribed and following the Tar Pit Podcast on whatever platform you're listening on right now. And don't forget to follow us on social. We're on X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search the Tar Pit Podcast and you'll find us. Until next time, go Heels.